I'm Miss Jessel, and this is Hollow Knight. If you watch my channel update, this was an inevitability. It's a bit later than I was expecting because of things that happened, namely, couldn't be bothered to edit yesterday, and you can tell from the way I'm phrasing this, I had to re-record this because the audio balancing was really bad and I didn't know until I went to edit, so I decided to have to re-record this. It's not too big of a deal because basically, like I said in the update, I already know this game inside and out. This is not a blind playthrough. So you're not missing out on much by having me go through the first area again. I might optimize the way I do this a little bit better, however, this time to make the episode a little bit shorter, because I know how I want the episode to end, or rather where I want the episode to end, I should say. I deleted the old save, but there's a couple of achievements that won't pop up. I'm playing on a separate Steam account, borrowing from my main one, to try and make this as clean an install as possible. So there's a couple of achievements that won't pop up, but I'll mention when they should. These game modes we shouldn't also shouldn't have unlocked right now because you're meant to get them later. So we'll just play on classic because it's the same computer. So in wilds beyond, they speak your name with reverence and regret. For none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch you taught, we changed, base instincts were redeemed. A world you gave to bug and beast as they had never dreamed. From Elegy for Hallownest by Monomon the Teacher. Welcome to the best introduction to any game because it proves right away that there's no fall damage, which is what every gamer wants. So, I kind of mentioned this last time, but I'm going to try and get most of the secrets that I can remember. I'm probably not going to go out of my way to look up where certain things are, because I feel that's a bit excessive. Because this isn't going to... I'm also probably going to try and go for the true end of the game, 112%, all that jazz. Just because I really enjoy this. And even if no one watches this, it's going to be fun to just go through the game again. Also, yeah, I'm going to treat it with more dignity than I treat Pokemon. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Your great strength marks you amongst us. Focus your soul and you shall achieve feats of which others can only dream. So, one of the only written tutorials in this section. You should have taken damage there just to demonstrate. Hold on. I'm teaching you how to heal and stuff, but it's other things like basically, I think, and there's other people talk about this already. It's kind of an immersive tutorial. Like how it conditions you to use your sword, or nail as they're called, to instinctively sort of attack things, which comes useful later in the game, like when it's attacking those doors and stuff. And again, the instantly teaching you that there's no fall damage and all that stuff. And then how these things make the counter go up. after if you hit them and you get stuff from them, which you don't know what that is at this point, but you can assume it's some sort of currency because this is a video game, or how that there teaches you that enemies can also be hurt by environmental hazards. It's really clever. Although I don't really have any much to say on the matter, other people haven't already, so this probably isn't anybody here who's going in completely blind. Speaking of blind, shit, I always forget that that's there. I'm going to try and be as like vague and spoiler-free as possible in my commentary, just because I know that some people watching this might be blind. For example, my friend Roddy definitely hasn't finished the game. First time I tried this, I didn't do that first try. Yeah, that's something that not a lot of people, people I don't think even know this bit exists. I know I didn't the first time I played this. But never mind. That downwards pogo slash is not something I found out till much later on. And I can't even remember if I found it out myself or if I read about it, because I didn't go into this completely blind. Higher beings, these woods are for you alone. Within our lands, do not hide your true form. Let all bask in your majesty, for only this kingdom could produce one such as you. I mostly went in blind to the story, but there were some bits as I played more than going in unblind. Okay, I'm not explaining this very well. As I was playing and looking things up, I ended up stumbling across things that spoiled me, like on the presence of certain things to do with the ending and all that jazz. Anyway, first collectible. Collected a charm. Fear of the Fallen. Equip a charm to activate its powerful abilities. To equip a charm, open the charms menu while streaming the bench. And here, if this is the first time, you get the achievement Charmed when you pick up a charm, but we've already got that technically. Yeah, that basically means when you're on only one mask of health up there on the left, you do more damage. Not for me personally, I'm too scared of being on low health to ever get use out of it. But it's probably really useful for people who are good at not getting hit. Couldn't be me though. My preferred tactic for bosses is face tank. There's only 14. So again, probably isn't the best. I'm not the best player at this game, but if you're having fun, does that really matter? High beings, these woods are for you alone. Beyond this point, you enter the land of King and Creator. Step across this threshold and obey our laws. Bear witness to the last and only civilization, the Eternal Kingdom, Hallownest. Well, there's a sequel coming out sometime in the future with another kingdom, so somebody didn't get the memo. So speaking of the sequel, I won't be playing that blind probably, because there's no way I'll be able to pace myself to only play when recording. Yeah, this is the place we saw over the cliffs in the foreshadowing of the opening cutscene. Deptmouth, the fading town. Disappointingly not pronounced like Plymouth. Ho there, traveller. I'm afraid there's only me left to offer welcome. Our town's fallen quiet, you see. The other residents, they've all disappeared, headed down that well, one by one, to the caverns below. Used to be there was a great kingdom beneath our town. It's long fell to ruin, yet it still draws folks into its depths. Wealth, glory, enlightenment. That darkness seems to promise all things. I'm sure you too seek your dreams down there. Well, watch out. It's a sickly air that fills the place. Creatures turn mad and travellers are robbed of their memories. Perhaps dreams aren't such great things after all. Men used to come, hoping the kingdom would fulfill their desires. Hallownest it was once called, supposedly the greatest kingdom there ever was, full of treasures and secrets. Now it's nothing more than a poisonous tomb full of monsters and madness. Everything fades eventually, I suppose. Feeling tired? The bench may be iron, but I assure you it's quite comfortable. There's no better place to collect your thoughts before heading below. Plus I enjoy the company, not that you seem the talkative sort. And then here's the bench. I'll equip it just for the sake of equipping it, but if we get to that point where I'm on 1 HP, I'll be healing. For all your mapping supplies, we'll be opening soon. Is Elder and Cornifer? Yeah, that about the bench is Elder Bugs. There's no more dialogue left. Dialogue, essentially. Because his dialogue tree gets more updates as you do more things and explore more. This is the Forgotten Crossroads, the first area of the game and still technically the tutorial. To the best of my ability, I'll try and route roughly how I did the first time I played this, just to kind of give a sort of experience that I think was a pretty good one. Hello there, how delightful to meet another traveller on these forgotten roads. You're a short one, but you've a strong look about you. I'm Quirrell. I have something of an obsession with uncharted places. The ancient kingdom holds many fascinating mysteries, and one of the most intriguing of them is standing right before us. A great stone egg lying in the corpse of an ancient kingdom. And this egg, is it warm? It certainly gives off a unique air. Can it be opened? There are strange marks all over it. I do so love a mystery, and who knows what other marvels lie even deeper below us. For so long I felt drawn here. So many tales full of wonders and horrors. No longer could I resist. I just had to see it for myself. And what time I chose to arrive, this dead world has sprung to life. Creatures are riled up and the earth rumbles. The air is thick. I wonder what could have brought it all about. To persevere in this ruin, that old nail alone just won't be enough. Though that's no problem. One only has to look around. Plenty had come before us, and most have met their grisly end. Many more equipped than you and I. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if were a fellow explorer to relieve them of their tools. It's a kindness, really. The dead shouldn't be burdened with such things. Did you pass that town above? What a gloomy little place, and such majesty hidden right beneath. Suppose that's why they were all headed down here. Who could resist such possibilities? Truly a marvel. Yeah, it's Quirrell. You'll be pleased to know that he's a recurring character. Yeah, this is the thing from the opening cutscene. It's one of my favourite things of storytelling is when something very important and potentially endgame, wink wink nudge nudge, is shown right at the start, and then it all comes back full circle at the end. Well, the enemies in the early part of the game just charge right at you, so you don't even have to think when attacking them, and they just basically run right into your sword for you. Now over here is something that kicked my ass easily half a dozen times the first time I played this. It's not even a mini boss, it's technically just a regular enemy. Actually, I'll get hit on purpose, not that one. Come on, do the other attack. See, it does 2 things of health, which is really, really messed me up. That's a little grub. There's a lot of those around, and they're kind of like Gold Skulltulas from Ocarina of Time, in the sense that they're just kind of a side quest collectible that you'll come across, and you'll probably end up running into a few of them, but for the most part you'll probably need to go back and scrounge for them, and you get rewards when you collect certain amounts. Hey, hello there. Oh, bury my mother, pale and slight. Bury my father, with his eyes shut tight. Bury my sisters, 2 by 2, and then when you're done, let's bury me too. Haha, do you know that one? It's one of my favourites. We can sing something else if you like. You start singing and I'll join in. I bet you have a beautiful singing voice, haha. So what are you down here for? If you came to get wealthy, just look around you. The mines are still bursting with riches. There's plenty for everyone. Just grab a pick and join in, haha. Oh, bury the knight with her broken nail. Bury the priest, something about a crown? I can't remember the rest of that one, haha. Maybe I'll just hum it. Yeah, there's little Mila. Just singing away in the mines. There's nothing over there, by the way. And we get to see this game's brilliant elevator technology, and what's this? The ground shaking technology. And so this is something, yeah, this is something we can't do yet. If I was sensible, I'd mark it on my map when I got one, but I never did that on my first playthrough, even though, yeah, there's one of these things, you get soul from them. I never marked things on my map with the map tokens. I never even bought them till the end of the game, and to this day I still have no idea why. So yeah, no, I can remember all of these things on this giant sprawling map and where they are and what sort of abilities I'll probably need to get them. Spoilers, I didn't remember most of them, and I ended up running around like a headless chicken. And then down here, with the arrow pointing down, uh-oh, we can't actually do this. But that kind of implies, oh, something's down there, but we've got to go around. Ah, damn it, I was trying to be clever. Yeah, I think there'll be I'll try not to, I don't want there to be much dead space when I record, but it always ends up happening because whenever I'm put in front of a camera or something, I always end up getting nervous. You can probably hear me stumbling over my words quite a lot and not thinking of things to say and all that stuff. So, also, if anybody's watching this, I want to do not really experiment, but sort of, how do I, not experiment, test, I'll just call it a test or something. Basically, instead of just trying to find things to talk about in the game during Dead Space, I want to try and talk about stuff, just to make this interesting. So if you have anything you want me to, like, talk about, maybe, or, like, just ramble to myself about while recording, just leave it in the comments or something. That would be really appreciated. And now, I do have something to talk about here, though. This, we don't actually have the ability to do this yet, but shit. There is a way to bounce off that guy and get there early, but I just slashed it sideways, which didn't work, as you can tell. And I think you need to bounce off it twice, so if it only has 1 HP, you can't do it anymore. And I'm not really going to try and sequence break anything, but I'll point things out if, like, they get drawn to my attention. Now, this is the left side of the map that we saw last time. By last time I mean when we first came into the well. This is the left-hand side of it. Actually, there's something I will show here, just because it'll make something later. Don't think it. The Pilgrim's Way. Travels of Hallownest. Descend through the verdant wilds and fungal groves to the city of this kingdom's heart. There all wishes shall be granted, all truths revealed. I'll talk about that in a second. So, this thing. Remember this thing's there, and remember that we can't fight it yet. So yeah, the city. When I first played this, I thought the city would be kind of like the end of the game for a couple reasons. First off, it was like, this is where, like, all truths will be revealed, and this is the end of the Pilgrim's Way. And second was Undertale, where the city is the end of the game. And so it's kind of linked in my mind, oh, capital city, that's the end goal, but the city in Hollow Knight is actually kind of early on. There's a lot of the game after you go to the city. Yeah, let's talk to this lovely gentleman. Hello there. Come down to explore these beautiful old ruins. Don't mind me. I have a fondness for exploring myself. Getting lost and finding your wagon is a pleasure like no other. We're exquisitely lucky, you and I. I'm a cartographer by trade, and I'm working on mapping this area right now. Would you like to buy a copy of my work so far? I would, actually. Acquired map. Hold L1 to view a map of the current area. A map can be a useful thing, but it alone won't show you where you are. If you've not the head for directions, I suggest purchasing a compass for my wife, Iselda. She's just now opening our new map shop in Dirtmouth, selling all sorts of useful things to wanderers like yourself. She'll even sell some of my old maps from time to time. I pop back to see her whenever I finish mapping an area. She's always so excited to see me. Oh, by the way, I haven't introduced myself, have I? Yes, I should apologise for that. When you spend a lot of time by yourself with just your own thoughts, you forget the niceties of conversation. My name is Cornifer, and I've always loved exploring the world. Why, when I was first hatched, I wandered off immediately, leaving my brothers and sisters and poor mother behind. That's why as soon as I could, I moved to Dirtmouth with my wife. A huge, unending kingdom to explore right on our doorstep. Who could resist? Anyway, I'll let you return to your travels. With a little luck, we'll meet again. Be safe and farewell. How are you finding my map? I try to fill out as much as I can, but every map is a work in progress. If you'd like to fill out some of the map yourself, you can purchase some mapping supplies for my wife up in Dirtmouth. We've set up a little store to help make ends meet. So yeah. We don't have the compass. We can kind of tell where we are based on the fact that Cornifer drew a little picture of his face on the map there. Anyway, we're gonna head over here because there's something nice over here. Well, obviously. I did that without taking damage the first time I did this. I'm showing myself up in front of my adoring fans. I meant to do it that time. I don't like this one coming out the ceiling. It always scares me. And there is a reason why I come through this room multiple times in a way that's very scary. And you'll probably eventually find out. It's a late game side quest that's notorious for being awful. Anyway, hey there, little one. I probably won't visit where they go this episode because, again, I want to keep time down. So I got a know how to pace myself through exploring areas. I think that's an advantage of having already known, like, where most of the stuff in the game is that I can kind of, again, like I just said, pace myself and show off things in a certain, I'm a genius, a certain order that I think might not necessarily optimum for like experience in general, but pretty decent probably for a let's play where it's nice and structured. And I'm having trouble hitting this thing. Let's try and show off my. Nope, never mind. You can tell I'm not a speedrunner because I didn't even attempt that. Yeah, the speedrun tactic for this room is you hit that stalactite down with an angle and it cuts through both of those at the same time, killing them instantly. But no, I'm just awful at it. Anyway, here's the hot springs. There's a nice little bench there, and this fills up your soul. You ever just have a bath so wonderful that it literally rejuvenates the magical energy inside your very being? Yeah, and most enemies respawn after you sit at a bench, but some of them respawn when you leave the room. And now that is a equivalent of a heart piece, aka a mask shard. And oh, look at that! We don't have the ability to get up there. Again, though, there is a little fly here that we could lure over, but I'm probably, like I said, I'm probably not going to sequence break too much. Not necessarily for any reason other than not really my jam. I'm gonna go the top way, because it's slightly easier. The ceiling is very high there. I always used to think that like you'd just do a little hop and then you'd fall down, and I'm the best person in the world at landing. And look, it's another sign. Yeah, I already have kind of a route of what I want to do, so this time, so we'll explore down there probably next episode. Now, this room is one of the only things I did see before I played the game, because I kind of hopped onto a live stream. This is where the streamer was. So, I already knew the existence of this guy. The last stag. Greetings, little one. It's been an age since I last heard the ringing of the station bell. It echoed down the stagways and called me to you. I've grown stiff and tired over these many years, and I've forgotten much, but the sound of the bell will always call me back. These stagways stretch the depths of Hallownest. If you want to travel them, hail me from the platform. I'll take you where you need to go. Or if you talk to him down here. It was a long time ago, but I remember when these highways and crossroads pulsed with life. There are paths I first carried passengers through when I was young. Those travellers are long gone, yet still I remain. Now it seems it's just you and I and the furtive creatures scratching and squirming all around us. You get a little bit of information about the area. We're going to head back up to Dirtmouth. But also, interestingly, that is not a stag beetle. That's a rhinoceros beetle. Stag beetles are the ones with the giant mandibles. And yeah, stagway sounds slightly better than like rhino way, and rhino beetles are the ones that look cooler. So I understand the design decision. I just think it's kind of funny. Yeah, now I've unlocked this station, which makes sense that you can't enter here at the beginning, because you can't really use a train station if you only have one station. I never thought I'd see such a thing. The stag station has opened. That building lay silent since before even my time. Oh, I've heard the tales of the glorious lions, a web of tunnels running all throughout the kingdom. Not that I'll be travelling them, mind you. I'm quite content where I am. Did you visit that temple? A strange building, I've heard, though I'd never dare the journey myself. The braver among us, once went there to pray. They said they felt at peace within the walls. After a while, they stopped going. I wonder what changed. The young couple's just recently taking up residence in the house beside the station. Seems they're running a map shop, which makes excite adventurous types like yourself. She's a tall bug, the wife. I told them to take a larger house, especially given they're all empty, but they like the look of that one. The way she has to bend just to get through the door, I wouldn't put up with it myself. Yeah. They choose this one at the front because they know the game's 2D. Anyway. Here's, Bapanada. Come to buy a map, have you? It's really my husband you should be dealing with, but what a surprise, he's headed down below. He'll pop back occasionally to deliver new maps from the store, but I do wish he spent a little more time up here. I'm not much interested in retail myself. Now let's see what's here for me to sell. Yeah, this item lets you update maps and you sit at them. This puts down pins where the benches are. those little blue things like the one we saw in King's Pass that give you the temporary health. These are things like shopkeepers, stag stations, and hot springs, and these are the markers I was on about. You're meant to put these down when you find things you can't do yet, but I didn't buy them. I didn't even really think about it. Yeah, these ones. And now this, you could use this code to remind yourself of hard-won battles. Basically telling you, hey, put this where you had a boss fight. Which is interesting, because that actually would help you later on in the game. Being as vague as possible for obvious reasons, but I'll hopefully remember to come back and explain myself when we get to that point where it's not spoilers anymore. Now this is a charm, it just puts your little thing on the map. I probably won't need it, I know where most of the thing is. In fact, I probably don't really need a map in general, but... so yeah, when you sit down at a map now with this pen and quill... That's not what I wanted. It like fills in the areas where we've been and stuff, and you can see, like, for example, I really like how it's got like the little notches where you can see the entrances, so you can see where like bits that you missed, or entrances that you missed in the room that you might not have seen and stuff. But there are also some entrances that aren't shown on here, exactly because, you know, I still have to have hidden set areas, and I really like it. Okay, gonna go back via the stag station because it's quicker to go back down to where I want to go this way. But first, this place. We're near the surface, I believe. There's a town here. You should take the opportunity to rest. This place was once full of travellers coming and going. It seems much quieter now. Yeah, also interesting is that things like Cornifer and Quirrell, their names only appear when they say their names, and things like Elderbug and Old Stag, it just appears right away, implying that's just what the character's nickname for that NPC is. Yeah, the Old Stag having 2 seats, I know it's just like world building stuff, but it always led me to believe that, maybe there's like some sort of multiplayer thing going on here, but there isn't. I'm sitting there because benches are also checkpoints if you die. I'm not expecting to die, but I might. It's kind of similar to Subnautica, where like at the start of the game, there's 2 seats in Life Pod 5, but you only ever play single player in like the vanilla campaign. Of course, there's multiplayer mods, but oh yeah, wait, I just remember there's another grub. I just heard it. There we go. Right. Here's this guy. The only other instance of these big guys, I think, in the game. Which is why I only consider it technically a normal enemy, because like, it's not a mini-boss because you don't fight it in an arena, but there's only like 2 of them. They do double damage, they have a lot of health, and they're very scary. And they give you a lot of money when they die, of course. I like how like everything does the little death curl, even if they're like those huge ones. Right, and then over here, if you're over here and it attacks, it will actually break down that wall for you. Most walls in the game you can open up yourself. There's a few, and by a few I mean just one, where you need to get an enemy to do it, which is a bit of a strange design decision in my opinion. Anyway, Spike Tunnel. There's an item we don't have yet that needs to get down there. I mean, you could probably use some speedrunning strats and get it with the next item we get, but I'm not doing that. Now, that Spike Tunnel, along with a couple other things, led me to believe that one of the items we'd get would be a temporary invincibility thing. Which technically isn't untrue, but not in the way that I was expecting or anything. And then, temporary invincibility items, or abilities, always used to, like, not really have a positive idea for me, because of a game called, I think it's called Little King's Quest. It was on the PS Vita, and you could always only have one ability equipped at a time. And one of the abilities was a healing one, and one of them was a temporarily invincibility one with the exact same amount of uses, which is 3. And I never really understood why you'd choose that one over the healing one, because you'd have to preemptively equip it before you took damage. With the healing, you'd just heal after you took damage, so you wouldn't have to, like, do it beforehand. I was like 12, so I wasn't very smart. But that always gave me a sour taste in my mouth with that sort of ability, but they're good. Anyway, boss fight time, False Knight. Now, interestingly, I do have full soul, but if you don't, then when you attack this thing, you don't get any until you attack this thing inside, the maggot. Now, yeah, this is basically just a souped-up version of those other guys we were fighting. It has very similar moves and a kind of similar sort of form. Even though you do like attack it in a different way, in the sense that it has those little mini stages where you can only do damage to the actual boss itself. Have to break the armor. Oh yeah, also that very last sound effect. After the first time he breaks the floor, you can break down that wall and just skip the whole fight. I'm not going to do that though for a couple reasons. First off, it makes better content to fight the boss. Second off, yeah, the boss fight's won now. He'll break the floor and then he'll die. Well, I kill him more specifically. You get a couple things from killing him that you don't if you just skip. The first off is this item, the city crest, which is useful for getting into, well, the city without using a skip. Second off is this crate full of money. 200, which is pretty useful. And now through here is where I'll be getting off for this episode. Because I think that would probably be a good stopping point, and it's probably been about half an hour at this point. So lots of bones and stuff everywhere. It's ominous. And there's that lovely fellow with a bench made of bones. Wonder where he got them from, because insects don't have bones. And that rib cage too, which implies there are vertebrates that live in this world. Anyway, yeah, this is where I'll get off. I'll always try and find a bench before I get off, because the benches are where you respawn after you exit and reopen the game. Even though it does automatically save. But if I want to like keep my sort of position, I've got to sit at a bench first. I probably won't put the end card on non-Friday episodes, linking to my friends' videos. So this will probably just end up fading to black like it did before my new sexy end card, which is a shame, but can't be helped. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and farewell.